You are now listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast. Relax your anus. Balls. Thick thighs. Camille Shat. Where's his neck? Eddie Jones. You're fucked, mate. We're nice now.
And we are recording. Hello, friends. You're listening to the Friends of Rugby. We are sitting here in Frank's sauna.
Cool. 27 degrees in here.
Your basement is really hot.
It's 29 degrees outside. So
yeah.
I've chopped 2 degrees off of it.
You need air
conditioning. You should be grateful. Maybe I do.
A real man has air conditioning, protects his family, and gets his family air conditioning.
No one told me about this when I moved to Canada, what real men have and don't have.
Well, I made that up, but the real men have air conditioning.
You're just angry that you're hot in my basement?
Yeah. I'm kind of sweating.
I'd get a fan, but it would ruin our deep, buttery voices.
I'm a heavier guy than you. I got a lot more body fat. I got more insulation here.
Should wear like a vest like I am, you know.
It's not a vest, it's a tank top.
Whatever you call it.
Is that what you guys call it over there?
Yeah.
A vest? No way.
Yeah.
You call a tank top a vest?
Yeah. Yeah. What's wrong with that? Or a wife beater, but that's
kind of weird.
That's fucked up, isn't it? So
they use it a lot too. If you're from down south and your wife is your cousin.
So you've been to Wales.
How was your weekend?
Good. Stayed up too late last night. And then, that's about it, really. And I'm trying to fix my broken finger. Broke my finger.
Is it completely broken?
Yeah, did I not send you? Yeah, I sent you a picture of the x-ray.
Yeah.
It's off the bone and not in a delicious way.
Thank God you listened to me and didn't play.
You tried to make me play last week.
That was not true.
It was like, you were like, shut up, stop being a fanny, play some rugby. And then I could have died. Because I already had a broken finger and I didn't realize.
I had a high school student play with a broken wrist.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They all right?
I pulled him off and because I just thought he's being a high school student.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, it hurts. And then he went. And then he really wanted to go back on.
Yeah.
And so I let him.
Yeah.
Because I was just figured, it's just if he's good enough to play. And then the next day he went to doctor and he had a broken wrist.
Did he break it? He broke it before he went back on, obviously.
Yeah, he broke it. Yeah, when he came off initially, I pulled him off.
Oh. I
was like, no, I want you to come off because I was worried he was injured. But then he just kept bugging me to go back on. I'm like, okay, maybe he just. Twinged it. He was like moving his wrist a little bit, and then he went back on with a broken wrist.
If you're not a medical professional, you're not going to know.
As a 16-year-old,
so,
you couldn't play with a broken fingertip.
Yeah, he's probably fine. He's probably fine by the weekend. They bounce back.
He is 16.
This is going to be fucked forever now, my finger, because I'm old.
Are they going to reset it?
Yeah, on
That's
Monday.
rugby.
Yeah.
That is rugby.
It's fine. I don't mind, but I was getting no record. Like, I had a nurse tell me it's fine, and then I go get an x-ray, and it's like, no, it's broken and dislocated.
That's why you don't get a diagnosis from a nurse.
I mean,
go to a doctor.
I feel like someone who's adjacent to a doctor would at least be saying, stop playing rugby, instead of get back on there, you fanny, you know?
I don't know. I get all my medical advice from Joe Rogan podcast, so I don't know what to say about that.
That's fine.
Just what does Joe Rogan have to say about it?
Probably have some horse medicine and you'll be fine.
Eat some horse meat.
Yeah,
be good.
Exactly. Eat some raw horse, be fine.
Well, thanks for asking me about my weekend.
I was building up to that. How was your weekend?
It was good until today, this morning. I had a friend ask me the worst thing that someone can ask you to do.
Yeah.
Help you move.
Yeah. It's rude, isn't it?
It's fucking awful.
It's the worst experience for the person who's doing it. And
it's the worst thing to ask someone to do. Like,
it's also the most stressful day of any person's life, moving house.
It just sucks, and it just sucks. Moving fucking sucks.
It's horrible. No, I agree. Part of me thinks like it's almost like doing community service though. Like you've got to do it. Because then when you need help moving house, who the fuck are you calling on? If you're the guy who knows that.
I feel like when you're over 35 and you're moving, you hire movers. You should be in position to hire movers.
If you're in a financial position to do it, you absolutely should.
When you're in your 20s, you're helping your buddies move.
Yeah.
When you're over 35, you're hiring movers.
And then you invite everyone over for a beer so they can all admire how nice you unmoved everything. I agree. But
and then yell at the movers for nicking our wall. Come on, man.
Okay, if you have the money to do it, you should hire movers. But these people who have the money and think it's fun to get all their friends together and it's a big community event, no, fuck you.
Oh, we'll get pizza afterwards?
Fuck you. Fuck your pizza.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
if
top
you've got
10
the
things you can
if
do
you've
to
got the
me.
finances to move yourself, fuck off. Otherwise, I'll help you. I get it.
Yes.
Because you'll get me back, and you know
Okay,
it's
I
a
agree
big
with that.
deal.
I agree with that.
You know, but
yeah, if you know they can't afford movers, but we know
that's
they
the only
fucking
reason.
can,
Fuck them,
and they're just
then, yeah.
being cheap,
Yeah.
like you fucking get those
No,
fucking movers.
seriously, it's the worst event in anyone's life is moving house.
Yeah, it's top 10.
It trumps relatives dying. It's that bad.
I had I hate painting too.
Yeah.
Like I just fucking hate painting.
Oh, I quite like painting.
And I moved into this place, the next girlfriend, years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
And the room I had baby blue and pink stripes down the wall.
It was a baby's room.
It was a baby's room.
Yeah.
Used to be a baby's room.
Yeah.
And I got in there, I'm like, for fuck's sakes, because I didn't see the place because someone else picked it out. So I was
Yeah.
moving with some friends. I'm in my early 20s, and I was just going to leave it.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it, whatever.
Did it actually bother you?
No, it didn't
I
bother
wouldn't
me.
have cared.
But then my girlfriend at the time, she's like, I am not having sex in this room. So then I'm fucking painting these walls.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you not just have painted one of the stripes so it was only one of those colors?
I just painted the whole thing white.
Fair
And it was
enough.
just, it was brutal. I hate painting. And I hate moving.
I don't mind it.
Don't ask me to paint. Don't ask me to move.
I would never ask someone to help me paint. I just don't mind doing it. Like, I don't, since I've moved to Canada and people seem to enjoy helping each other do tasks around the house, like get everyone over, have some pizza and beers and we'll all help you fucking mow your lawn or do your, it's like, mind your business. Like, I don't want your help and you shouldn't want mine. And it's like when people ask me to do these kind of things and I'm like, you fucked in the head, like do your own chores. Like,
Because everyone in the UK is bitter and angry.
which is realistic.
It's true. I
You
used to
know?
live there. They're all fucking angry.
That's true because people keep asking us to help them do things.
It's always raining. There's no sun.
So
and
if it's raining all the
everyone's
time
angry.
and I've got a room to paint, I'm not going to make my friends more miserable. But I know you're sad because it's pissing it down all the time. Do you want to come and help me fucking dig a hole in my garden? No, fuck off.
Should we talk about some rugby?
Probably.
We just went into such a fucking tangent.
Yeah.
We're turning into those podcasts.
I know. Didn't I say that when we started? I
we're-
hate those podcasts who spend 10 minutes talking about unrelated shit from their own life.
Well, we spent 5 minutes.
It's still too much.
Yeah.
We're going to cut down on that shit.
Cut it down next
I
time.
promise.
Just a wee little introduction and into the rugby.
It's like, how are you? I don't care. Let's talk about rugby.
Do you want to talk about Japan, USA?
Talk about that first.
Yeah, let's talk about that
All
first.
right, let's dip into that. What do you think?
I was surprised that the USA didn't it was almost the same game
Yeah,
when Japan played Canada,
it was.
and I was surprised by that. I thought USA would be more competitive in this.
Yeah. Considering they have an entire professional league now, they're not showing much sign of improvement, are they?
That's the thing. It's the stories, like the narrative behind this game,
Yeah.
that kind of concern me.
Yeah. I agree.
So we're in year what of
MLR?
it started in 2017? Let's just say it started in 2017.
That's when we started hanging
It's
out.
2017-18.
No, it's 18 because I moved to Canada 18 and you invited me to come watch the final with which the Arrows are in.
Okay.
That was
No,
the
the
first
Arrows
time we
never
hung
made the
out.
final. They must.
It was a semi-final then.
Yeah,
But-
so it was like a playoff game. I know they got out in their first season. They played in,
yeah.
but they came in the second season.
Right.
So they did start in 2017.
Oh, right. Oh, so it must. Okay. So yeah, we're looking at 7 years then.
Yeah, so we got 7 years in. So I don't expect them to beat England. I'm not expecting them to be competitive with France.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting them to put points up on New Zealand.
Yeah.
But the other lower nations, I was expecting more competitiveness out of the USA and Canada.
Yeah. I would expect a real close game between. I don't expect them to beat Japan, but I don't expect them to lose at home by 20 points either. You know.
Uh-huh.
And they didn't look threatening. It was the same when Japan played Canada. The Canada didn't look threatening, but I don't expect them to. Yeah, there's no signs of progress, are there? Which is weird.
Well, Canada did have a big push in the second half that game they played.
I was really impressed with Canada's second half comeback. Yeah,
It just really makes you question, what the MLR is just not after almost a decade in. I feel like USA Rugby and Canada Rugby are in the same spot as they were before the MLR.
Yeah, which
took
wasn't
it.
a good place
It
considering
wasn't
the
a
history.
good place. So I'm just like, what is going on here? Where is what's not happening? Why are they not improving?
I think in both countries, their national setup is poor. I was listening to this thing about Kingsley Jones managing Canada, and he's renewed his contract, and people aren't happy about it. And he's not my favorite coach, but they don't have other coaches, right?
No, they had. Well, I think they do now.
Yeah,
Because
but
they
for
have
the
a
longest
new,
time
they have a
didn't
new
have.
person running. But at the time, that guy,
Yeah,
he cut all his coaches.
right.
So I didn't even know that too. I
Yeah.
actually only found that out recently.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah, yeah,
And I remember hearing something about that.
yeah.
But I didn't know he like went to the World Cup, that he was doing all this like World Cup qualification.
He drove the fucking bus.
With just him.
Yeah.
He's coaching the scrum, he's
Yeah.
coaching the line,
Yeah.
he's like doing
Just him.
everything. I didn't know that. That kind of changes my perspective on things.
Yeah.
So maybe like when they did sign his new contract,
Yeah.
they're like, okay, we're gonna give you a coaching team
Yeah.
this time for you to be
Yeah.
able to actually, you didn't get a fair shot.
Because I feel bad for like jumping down his throat a while back. Because when I learned about that, which I think I learned about that a little while ago, but it was like, well, no wonder he can't fucking do anything, you know? Like it's just him, right? He's fucking sewing the numbers into the kits and things. Like it's like, you see the people and there's guys holding the water bottles and stuff. Like it's just him, just Kingsley Jones, right? Running Canada. And, I think that's a bit of a metaphor for the US. It's not a metaphor. It's similar in the US where like just the national setup is just not padded out, right? And they don't have the money for it. But you could pay someone not that much, and someone ambitious would be like, I'd love to be your attack coach. Some ex-player who doesn't need to be paid hundreds of thousands of dollars,
I did talk to, I did get to talk face to face with a guy that played under Crowley and Jones,
Yeah.
and his review of Jones was brief and not good.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a great coach. I'm not a big fan.
Like, he was just saying how they were night and day
Yeah.
coaches. Attention to detail was night and day. It was just like the atmosphere was night and day.
Yeah.
Like, he was just not impressed with Jones at all.
No, and I've heard that as well. And obviously people have different opinions about their coaches, don't they? And you remember when Crowley left Italy, you watched that documentary and you're like, this guy does not seem like he gives a shit. And it does not seem like he's paying attention to detail.
That documentary really did him dirty.
It did.
Because it made him look like he just didn't give a fuck.
Right. He caught some strays in that, didn't he? Because that was not the objective to go after Crowley, but like everything about him was a bit like, oh, he looks like he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And they were glad to get rid of him.
He's just there to get a paycheck.
Yeah.
He fucking hates his players.
Yeah.
Like, it just looked like a bad situation. It made him look really bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I never even thought to look up if there was any repercussions or any response from him because of that.
Well, he's probably smart enough just not to say anything. Like, why stir it up? Just keep about your business.
Well, when you look at the character they portrayed in that documentary,
what's he gonna do? Sue him? They just showed you footage of him.
Like, it's he seems like a type of person that would say something.
Yeah, we're just inferring things, aren't we? They didn't say anything. They just showed us him doing things. And we were like,
and it was edited too. They're showing us just bits and pieces, right? They're not showing the whole story.
No context shots of
But
Crowley.
the way they portrayed him, made him look like he didn't give a fuck. But anyways, like back to like the USA and Canada.
Yeah.
Like, it's just what's not happening? Like, what is going on? Like, where's the disconnect? Like, there's Canadians and Americans playing rugby full time professionally.
Yeah.
The quality of the MLR, it's not high.
It's getting better.
But it's not low.
No, it's not low.
Right?
No, it's getting better.
And it should be. I'm just surprised by it's not paying dividends yet.
Yeah.
Because I thought, 5-6 years, you're going to see them like being more competitive with the other tier 2 nations.
Mm-hmm.
And they're struggling.
They are struggling.
And like USA's got a World Cup coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
In 6 years?
2031. Yeah.
So they have a lot of stepping up to do.
They do. They've got as long until that happens as it's been since the MLR started. So they've got literally double the time since that started, right? Which is good, but yeah, we need to have seen some signs of progress now, and we really haven't at national level. Yeah,
zero,
yeah, honestly,
zero progress.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's scary. It's concerning.
I think, like I said, it's a national setup thing where, you get the boys into camp, they see a nutritionist, they see a dietitian, they see like a physio, they see, all these people who will give them the right attention at the right time to, to help them step up to another level. And, if you haven't got people who've recently been coaching at a high standard, they're not going to know about the trends. I mean, of course they do, the professional rugby players. They know about what's going on in the world of professional rugby. But you need someone who's come from like the Springboks to go, this is what's happening at the Springboks right now. This is the way the game is going, right? They're not at the cutting edge of what it is. And yeah, they've probably got the athletes to do it, but...
Because the guy that's running Rugby Canada right now,
yeah,
he came from Scotland.
Yeah.
and fuck.
Oh, he was a Glasgow guy, wasn't
Yeah,
he? Yeah,
and he
was
turned
there,
that club around.
He turned their sort of attendance and
He
stuff.
brought up their attendance,
their
their performance. Like
he sold the club rather than.
So I think like for Canada, like he's got someone smart. They don't like Canada has zero. Like Canada Rugby and USA Rugby are like they got the problems, but Canada's got some, like bad problems. Like we're still picking guys from like beer league clubs, right, to go on our national team.
Yeah.
When we have like professional players all over the place,
Yeah.
and we're still picking guys that are like playing in a beer league.
Yeah. And punching above your weight for what you've got, but still considering where Canada used to be, they used to be like the Italy of world rugby. You know, almost tier one, almost competing with.
They've made it to the knockout stages of the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like they've played in a quarterfinal game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this is like the drop off ever since the professional era started. The drop off
is insane.
Yeah, and I'm worried that the women are gonna follow suit because now the professional era of women's rugby is happening.
Yeah.
And it's starting to grow.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Canadian women
they're going to fall behind.
They're going to fall behind.
Or they'll be the Argentina of world rugby.
If they're lucky enough.
Yeah.
But I'm worried that's going to happen to them because they're going to get left behind in this professional era.
Yeah.
And that all that development they're going to miss out on.
I'm less worried about that. You know, I do coach a women's team, and what I see is the young men go and play hockey and football and other university sports. Mm-hmm. Whereas the women, there are a lot of good university pathways for women in rugby in Canada.
That's
that
the saving grace.
It does it's significant though. It's significant. I mean, you'll go look at the men and women's team in Canada's rugby teams to know that that's a big difference, right?
Because especially our university here, they have a men's team like every other year,
right?
Or most of the time they don't.
And the women's rugby team here is prestigious for the university, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's pretty, like you want to play on that team, and it gets you places, right? So that pathway makes a big difference. And the men here the pathway isn't as strong, and they just don't want to play rugby at that stage. They want to play football, or they want to play ice hockey, or something else. So
yeah, that is a good point.
It's not the only problem, obviously, but it definitely I noticed that. That's something I've picked up on, right?
No, I would agree with that. I'm just kind of concerning, like I want to know like what is missing in the MLR that's stopping that has shown no growth. Like I was expecting something.
Yeah.
Right. I wasn't expecting like a huge leap, but I was expecting something.
And that's I was gonna kind of disagree with you then, but actually, Wales, Scotland, Italy, we don't have that many professional teams. Not even close, right? Ireland don't have that many professional teams. They're New Zealand don't have that many professional teams, right? So if the standard of rugby keeps going up in MLR, it should translate to the national game, and the standard of MLR is going up, but not fast enough for it to translate, because you need to be bringing people to that stadium. You need this competition to be hyped up, to be sold. And Americans are good at selling their sports, so they really need to get on that, market it, right? Bring some attention to it.
It just looks bad for rugby fans. It makes the MLR look bad.
Yeah.
Seeing these results, seeing the majority of these players on USA and Canada come from this league.
Yeah.
The people that know their rugby, it looks bad on the MLR.
Yeah.
It's like the MLR, it just makes the MLR look super amateur.
It does make them look amateur. And Japan, contrast that with Japan. They have packed out stadiums, huge money into their league, and their national team isn't doing so well, but Japan and the US are in a comparable position here, right? They both have big professional leagues in terms of the number of teams competing.
They also have both countries have a big collegiate.
They do.
Collegiate, is that the right word?
Yeah, collegiate, yeah.
Competitions.
Yeah, they do.
That are huge.
Yeah, they do.
Right?
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Also, Japan has a lot of... what Japan has that the United States doesn't have, though, they have a lot of rugby, specific high school programs, too.
They do.
Where these kids are playing rugby every day.
Yeah.
And, they go to school and they play rugby, and that's what they do.
And that's what they do in Japan. There'll be sports, when I lived there, they'll be this is a tennis school, right?
Yeah.
You go to school and they have that in other countries, right? They'll have places that specialize in certain sports, but they're militant about it in Japan, right? Mm-hmm. This is the school that performs well at football.
Rugby Pass has a series, I think Rugby Pass TV has a series where they follow a rugby high school.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I would like to watch that, actually. Because when I was living there, the sports after school, They play for like 2 or 3 hours in 35-degree heat every day, and they are the most insanely fit people. Like, they just play sports all the fucking time outside of school. It's mental. But you know what's crazy? When I was there, we went to watch a J-League game, like a Japanese rugby game. It was empty, and the standard was terrible. And this was 2016, so we're coming up on 10 years. And to be fair to them, the standard has changed massively. Yeah, the imports changed it a lot, but now they pack out every stadium. When we went, there was like 2,000 people in a 10,000-seat stadium. The atmosphere was shit. The standard was shit. And they haven't done a great deal different. It's just built up over time. So
I think buying all those top players in the world,
that really helped.
like having all those Super Rugby players come.
Yeah, that really helped.
Like
And
having that competition
yeah.
all the time, playing against like all those Japanese players, playing against that talent,
Yeah,
like every week.
yeah.
But that again, like it's almost like you just keep kind of seeing Japan regressing.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Actually,
Right?
Japan aren't doing that well.
They're not doing that much better. You
No.
feel them like when they're when they come for the last few years, when they've been playing Tier 1 nations, they have gotten destroyed.
Yeah, yeah.
And you thought that now that they're like getting lots of high profile players playing with them,
That would
the
raise their standard.
yeah, and that they would all be better too.
And they're still depending on ancient Michael Leach. Like,
Yeah.
this guy's ancient. He's good, but like, he's not the future of your club, is he? You know? So
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what's going on in the MLR.
we're both just sad that neither of these countries have, like Japan and the US and Canada, are fulfilling their potential, right? Like, we want rugby to be a global game, and it's like, what's the missing piece here?
I feel like Japan, though, out of the three, is the bigger letdown because they're working with a lot more.
Yeah.
They got a lot more tools in their toolbox.
They've got a lot more fucking money.
and a
as well.
lot more
more
money, ton
Yeah.
more money,
Yeah.
and you're not seeing the results that since 2019.
Yeah.
It feels like they've just been getting worse.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair as well, in 2019, no one was expecting that. No one was expecting Japan to come out and beat South Africa. So they set the bar too high. They shouldn't have gone that high. They should have,
And they were paying a lot of money.
Yeah, they were.
I think their offensive coach was making $1 million a year.
Yeah. And it didn't strike me as very ethical either. Like Eddie Jones is like being a little shifty bastard, and he like quits Australia, leaves Australia in the shitter, and then he goes to Japan, and everyone blames him, and rightfully so. But it's like, no one ever blamed Japan for that. Like, you're hiring the guy who is being a piece of shit. Like, that doesn't look good for you either, So, I don't know.
I have some things about Eddie Jones later on when we get to the Wallabies.
Okay, yeah. We're talking around some issues now. Let's get back to the on-field rugby.
So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the Japan-USA game.
Good, me too.
Should we get on to the Rugby Championship?
Yes.
Side note, Stuart Hogg scored a try after 17 months being away
Don't care.
for Montpellier.
Don't care.
Oh.
Don't care at all.
And Owen Farrell lost his first game.
That's sad. I do want Owen Farrell to do well, as much as he's English. I do like Owen Farrell. Don't you?
Yeah, I don't hate Owen Farrell.
Oh, okay.
No,
I thought that's
I
what
like
the
him.
implication was. No, I like him.
I have nothing against him.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of his.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Maybe I'm just projecting.
He's not like my favorite player, but I like watching him play.
I always thought he was underrated. I always thought, like, when he's playing and we're playing, like, whenever Wales are playing England, and Owen Farrell plays most of those fucking games in my
You thought
lifetime.
he was underrated?
Yeah.
Oh, I've always put him as one of the top 10s in the world.
He is, but but people don't do that. Like, when you have a conversation about who's the best 10 in the world, he's rarely in that
Well,
top.
I wouldn't say I would never put him as the best 10 in the world.
Right.
But he's in the group.
I would say at times he has been the best 10 in the world. Not now. Or not in even the
I would
last
say
2-3 years.
at some points in his
Yeah,
career,
yeah.
at some years, I would say, yeah, he was like the guy.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't I still would rate him in like if you had to make me put the 5 best 10s in the world.
Yeah.
I'd probably put Owen Farrell in there.
But a lot of people wouldn't. And it's respect to you for doing that, but a lot of people wouldn't. They'd be like, Bowden Barrett, Richie Mwanga,
Richie Mwanga. Yeah, he'd go
Damien
up there.
McKenzie.
You know what? Richie Mwanga.
I've got a lot of time for Richie Mwanga, actually.
Like people like he's like really good. I don't know.
He's just mysterious. He disappeared to Japan, and they were like, "Do you want to come back and play for New Zealand?" Like,
even when he was
maybe.
playing for the All Blacks, I didn't think he was just like this game changer guy that they
I
needed.
did. I did.
I thought he was good. I was like, he's a
Yeah.
really good rugby player, but
Yeah.
I wasn't just like, oh man, he's incredible, and the All Blacks miss him so much.
No, I'm sold. They miss him right now as well. They really do. Let's talk about that after we talk about non-chronologically the Wallabies Argentina game.
the
though.
Wallabies Argentina game.
Fucking hell! What a
This-
silly old game, eh?
this man,
What a
this
silly old game. A couple of silly sausages those teams are, eh?
what? Oh, man, what a game of two halves.
Yeah, that was the ultimate game of two halves, wasn't
Shit.
it? Yeah.
I thought Argentina were gonna lose this game.
Yeah, so did everyone. At halftime.
I was like, oh man, Argentina's gonna fucking
yeah,
lose
like,
two in
and
a row.
I was pissed off at them. I was like, you beat the All Blacks and this is the best you can fucking do?
Yeah, I was thinking too. I was like, man, you guys are fucking like, you beat the All Blacks a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna get like blanked.
Yeah.
In your home country.
Yeah, by the fucking Wobblies. Like,
Yeah,
what the
by
fuck?
the Wobblies.
Gee, and that's not my joke, by the way.
Well, I haven't heard that.
I see it on Reddit all the time.
And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then the second half came out,
Yeah.
and I've never seen a team just implode. They just completely fucking imploded.
And it was a bit of both, wasn't it? Because Argentina came out like, hey, wait a minute, we're at home and we're playing the Wallabies and we're losing? Like, what the fuck, boys? Like,
The only sad thing is Augustin Creevy.
oh, I know. Why
Like,
didn't he retire a week later?
yeah, why didn't you play this game?
Did he have a fucking holiday booked or something? Like, sorry, boys, I'm going
just
to
one
Ibiza.
more game. Why didn't you finish the rugby
Yeah,
championship?
yeah.
Maybe like the coach was like, yeah, I got to start picking the other hooker.
Maybe.
That's probably what happened.
Yeah, or he was nursing. Maybe he only got a small better game time last week because he was like nursing some
an injury
horrific
or something
injury.
like that, yeah.
It's like my ankle is
That's
literally broken.
That's a sad part about this. But man,
Yeah.
the players that stepped up.
Oh,
for
they
the
were
Pumas.
incredible, weren't they? They were all fucking amazing. Like in the second half, I should say. You know what I mean? And you forget, like, when they play well, Argentina will play in every part of the field. They will have incredible carries. They will got some fast as fuck backs. Their kicking game's amazing. Like
They
when
play
they want
high
to play,
stakes.
they do.
They play a really high stakes game because they fucking lose the ball
Yeah.
a ton. But
They
they
do. Yeah.
they play.
Yeah,
they do play high stakes rugby.
Let's be real. They knock it on a lot as well. They
because
do.
they're just fucking going nuts and
Yeah.
they're taking risks.
But when it
all the
works,
time.
like, fuck me, that's some champagne rugby. When the Argentina get going, like, that's like when you turn a Jaguar on, it's like got that like engine rumble noise. Like, oh, here we fucking go.
and
you know?
they're the most self-sabotaging team
Yeah.
in rugby too.
Them
they
and
love,
Fiji, yeah.
They love like fucking themselves over.
Yeah, it's like
like
Fiji.
their top thing to do.
They'll get a 50-point lead and then they'll get 9 red cards because
Like, who's that fucking lock they have?
Lavanini.
What's his name? Yeah, Lavanini.
Yeah.
I wonder how many fucking games
Yeah.
I've seen, because I've seen over a handful
Yeah.
that he's fucked up for that team.
Yeah,
like-
single-handedly.
Yeah,
he's known for that.
He even
yeah.
fucked up a try.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he got an obstruction call on a try and
Yeah.
fucked up the try, and he blatantly obstructs.
Yeah.
In this try, and this guy
Yeah.
would have got the try.
Yeah,
and I'm
it
just
was a tap and go on the 5 meter. Like you were there.
Yeah, and I was
It's
just thinking,
done.
is he
Like,
the most carded player in World Rugby?
he might be at the minute in
Yeah.
the modern era.
Because
Yeah.
he, like, I just don't know how many games that the Pumas were winning or could have won, and then he does some fucked up shit, and they
Yeah.
lose the game because of that, and
Yeah.
he's just looking around. He's like, "Oh fuck," and that has happened so many times.
Yeah.
and then he tried in this game too.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's like a fucking.
It's a plant.
Like he's a plant.
That's the conspiracy of the week. Lavanini
Yeah.
is a plant.
Like he came from somewhere else,
Yeah.
and they just like, "Hey, you have to make sure you do some fucking
ridiculous shit.
ridiculous
Once a game.
bullshit."
Yeah.
And
10 grand per ridiculous shit per game.
yeah, because it's almost like he's trying sometimes.
Yeah.
He's a great player, very physical, doesn't
Yeah.
take shit.
Yeah.
He's like
He's the enforcer, isn't he?
yeah, he's like one of the last enforcers, like
Yeah.
kind of hanging around.
Yeah. No one has enforcers anymore, but
No.
they do.
Yeah. And he's man.
Yeah.
Like when he did that obstruction in that try, I was like, man, this fucking guy. Like
It was a walk-in as well. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was so unnecessary. That was a try.
and he just was like, okay, don't worry, guys, I'll try to fuck this up.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Like what was some of your takeaways from this game?
I thought Australia looked tired. Like second half, they just looked knackered, right? And it was like they looked knackered and believed they'd won. So it was a bit of arrogance. They thought, actually, we've done this, boys. We can relax a bit. And it's like, why are you relaxing against Argentina? They beat the All Blacks a couple of weeks ago. Like, you fucking insane. And I thought their defense was appalling. Like, what? Because they made, don't get me wrong, Argentina, this is why I kind of like they're my quote unquote second team. I don't really believe in having second teams, but I do love watching Argentina. When they play well, they play some of the best rugby I've ever seen. And I can remember distinctive games, right? but Australia made them look good. They were playing some fantastic
Even
rugby.
the announcers made a comment on their line speed.
Yeah.
They just have no line speed.
No. But
They're just sitting there trying to like soak up these guys.
And we noticed that a few weeks ago, and I didn't put it down to tiredness. I thought it was a deliberate strategy to soak up, let them come to you, let them tire themselves out, whatever. And it's like, why are you giving Argentina space? But they just looked tired this time, right? But they weren't just not soaking up. They were missing tackles. They were missing a lot of tackles, right? And is it Callaway, the Aussie 15? I actually thought he looks pretty good as a 15.
They missed 30 tackles.
That's crazy.
But Argentina missed 24.
When you're scoring 67 points, you can miss 24 tackles, right? I mean, that's probably not a target you set yourself, but when you're that far ahead, it's like you're probably going to miss a few tackles. Like they're not catching you.
Also, the discipline in the second half went out to shit for the Wallabies.
Well, they both kind of started fucking around, didn't they?
Well, they got the Pumas.
Los Pumas.
Penalties. 5 penalties. That's got to be the lowest I've ever seen the Pumas.
Yeah, well, that's actually significant. Eh?
Yeah. And
I didn't know that.
Wallabies didn't pull a lot of penalties. They only pulled 11.
Oh, yeah,
but
that's
it's still
not terrible.
high.
It's not terrible though for an internet. No. It's not terrible considering this rugby championship where there's been every single game has been a lot of penalties.
I gotta put a lot of blame, like I said this before, on Super Rugby.
Yeah,
it's just Super Rugby is not doing any. Super Rugby is like their MLR. It's just like when you watch the games, when you watch Super Rugby games, and they're fucking like, you see all these tries, and you're like, whoa, because you would never see a try like that in the Northern Hemisphere.
No.
Right? These walk-in tries.
Yeah.
Guys, there's no one on the field.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's on one side of the field, and it's like all
and
open.
There's just a walk-in somewhere,
Like, almost like they're trying to let the guys have a try.
So they can get the ball back and just try themselves, right?
Yeah, like they're more concerned about just getting tries.
It's like basketball, right? It's like, we'll let you score, then we'll score back on you, and we'll just keep up the points, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, don't waste your time tackling. It hurts, and we don't want to get injuries. Just get tries.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, there's something going on. Like, it's just the style that they play. Yeah. And how obsessed they are with making this like flashy game because they're so concerned about like no one watching rugby. Yeah. And they're so obsessed with like making the game faster, making the game more appealing. Yeah. They're hurting themselves. It's evidently hurting, like it's hurting the Wallabies. It's hurting the All Blacks. You can see it. Yeah. You can evidently see like what's going on. And I don't even think, I would even make a bold statement, say if the South Africa never left Super Rugby, and Zanzibar did the same shit with the rules and everything, I bet you anything you would see the Springboks having the same issues.
Their defense not being as good.
This shit just not being just the shit just going like their international teams just like struggling more.
Or you could say if South Africa stayed and they'd actually put, they brought in Moana Pacifica, they'd allowed Pacific Island teams to join. Maybe we'd see some kind of hybrid of attacking and good defending rugby. Like it could be a better thing. It doesn't have to be a negative thing, right? Who knows what would have happened? But it could mean that all these teams would have been better in the long run, right? All the warm South country places are having a good old time together. I don't know. It
might even be like the Springboks, like, no, fuck it, we're going to play our style rugby anyway.
Well, that's the thing, right?
We don't care about making sure we have flashy tries. We're going to fucking play hard rugby, and then it would force the Australian and New Zealand teams to play like a better, more
overall
rugby
full game of rugby, right? Yeah. They defend as well as attack. Australia, when they were good, were one of my favorite teams to watch because their attacking rugby was sexy. Like their breakdown speed was so good. They'd always have a 9 whip it out straight from the breakdown, right? And they would love to run at you from anywhere. And I loved watching them when they were on form. And their attack in this game was good, right? There was no problem with their attack. In fact, I think it was one of the best attacking displays I've seen from them since Joe Schmidt took over. Like the things he's working on are working. But like I told you, like I've said, the last 2 weeks, he's got a little checkbox, right? Today we're working on our attack. We've done that. We got hammered, whatever. Next week we're working on fitness and defense, right? So I promise you, I would put a prediction on this. They are not going to get hammered like this again. They're going to lose every other game. They're going to lose the last 2 games.
There's also like...
Right? No doubt.
Another thing with the Wallabies, there's also like 200 Wallaby players playing outside. Of Australia. Yeah.
And if your game is collapsing, sure there's like a horn in Australia, like the beacon song, like, boo, come home everyone, we need you, right? Like get back from Japan and America, like.
It's just like the Springboks have proven you don't need the boys home. They've thrown all that shit out the window. They've thrown every kind of like the Springboks, like, you know how they have like how all these like nations like you have to play here to play for the international thing.
Yeah.
They've thrown all that out the window. Like, listen, you don't need any of that. You don't need it.
It depends on
They got players. They're pulling players from across the fucking globe.
But you know, they're a massive population, a lot of whom like to play rugby. Australia are not as big. They're probably about half the size, and you'd say rugby union's probably the 5th most popular sport in that country. Right? It's second in South Africa. So yeah, I agree. We shouldn't, because I feel strongly about that in Wales. It's like, why are we putting these regulations on guys? Just let them fucking play. But in Australia, I think you do need to do that because like you said, they have got a lot of exports.
They do lose. They have a lot of exports, and because they're leaving for the money.
Yeah.
They're leaving for the competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. People are watching that sport where they're going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they got a lot of talent that are just they're milking. They're like, I mean, not milk. They're leaking talent too.
They are. Yeah, it's a weird one because if you brought back some of their guys who are playing overseas and that meant you won a few more games, that would bring the profile of the sport up. More people would like it. More people get involved. So maybe it's a short term, play anyone who's available so that we win, and then long term we look to bring people home.
And they've like, it's just like, man, like this has got to be their lowest of the low.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, it is. It's the most points anyone's ever scored on them.
That's right. Yeah. Not the biggest defeat, but the most points anyone's ever scored on Australia. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
weird that Argentina did that, actually, isn't it? Because imagine South Africa putting them to the sword in a couple of weeks. Could happen. I don't think it will, but
they already played the Springboks twice.
Sorry, New Zealand. I mean,
yeah. New Zealand. New Zealand is going to destroy them.
Oh, they'll definitely win both games. I would put money on it if I
wouldn't want to be a Wallaby right now. Going over to New Zealand.
No.
The guys that like fucking took the Springboks to the brink, like,
and the guys who are hurting as well.
Yeah,
like they
just lost 2 games in a row.
A pissed off New Zealand. Like
oh fuck, they're so.
This is the most historically pissed off New Zealand have ever been as well.
And there's just like, there's no one shining in that team.
No,
there's no one like taking, like.
I like Valentini. A lot.
Yeah, but there's just like no one like really. They don't have a star.
No, they don't. And even the guys who I think are stars have shit haircuts, which upsets me.
They don't like even their 10 situations dire. Like Ben Donaldson was playing 10.
Yeah.
Which makes me talk about Eddie Jones.
How he fucked them so hard they still haven't recovered.
Well, you know how Eddie Jones only took Carter Gordon?
Yeah.
And then his second 10, well, his backup 10
wasn't even
was Donaldson.
Yeah.
Who barely played 10.
Yeah, didn't.
He mostly played fullback.
Yeah.
And you got a new coach, and who does he pick to play 10? Who's he got left? He picks Ben Donaldson. So, like, how far off was Eddie Jones?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there wasn't another 10.
Yeah. When you look at some of the team here, you're looking at it like, how far off was Eddie Jones actually?
Because it's not actually that different.
Like, was he like, it almost looks like he's seen something that a lot of people didn't see.
Or he just pushed the guys out who he really needed to the point that they're not going to come back for Schmidt. I'm thinking
because they roasted him for taking Ben Donaldson as the backup 10. He got fucked because he was like ranked 13th.
Yeah. But if you push guys like Quade Cooper, Kurtley Beale, Michael Hooper out to the point they don't want to come back, you've lost some big fucking names.
Yes, I know he got roasted for that stuff.
Yeah,
but just on the Ben Donaldson stuff, like him picking him. Like Jones picking him, bringing him as the backup 10, he got roasted for that shit.
He did.
Right? And then when another coach, Joe Schmidt, who's not an idiot, very smart guy, knows his rugby, picks Donaldson to start, right? In the rugby championship, he's got a clean slate. He can pick the best of the best in Australia. He picks Ben Donaldson.
Yeah.
So like that just kind of says, like when I saw that, I was like, Eddie Jones like saw something. He saw something that a lot of people didn't saw. I was like, maybe he wasn't so fucking crazy when he picked his like team. He's like, these are the guys that are going.
This is the future.
This is the future. These are the guys that you know are showing potential. These are the guys that are. I bet you anything. These are the guys that were the most hungry in camp too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've never had the problem with Eddie Jones's maverick decision making. I mean, sometimes it seems a bit left field, but
Australians did.
they, of course, yeah, they did. And to be honest, like
Who
I
know their team a lot more than you and I know their team.
100%. But I'm saying is, I would be pissed off as an Australian more because Eddie Jones left him in the shitter. He started what looked like some kind of rugby revolution. Fine, if you're going to buy into it, you got to fucking stick with it, right? He fucking he like booted out all these guys, brought in all these new guys, and then just left. That's what's fucked up about it. Not that he's some maverick who sees things that other people don't see. We all know that's what he's like. But see your fucking plan through at least. You know, it's your country after all.
Yeah.
You know, so no, I just think it's his lack of ethics.
He is Japanese too.
Yeah, but he's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still pissed off with Japan getting away with that, being like, hey, we're just going to pick this shit heel of a
They
fucking
don't give a
coach.
fuck.
No, like, okay, they got money.
Yeah, man, fuck. I wouldn't want to be a Wallaby. I think like the Lions have to do something.
Yeah, I think they're going to go
The
somewhere
British
else.
and Irish Lions have to genuinely like have.
Yeah, they got to go somewhere else.
Because this might be the fucking.
Could ruin the Lions.
It could ruin the Lions. Who's like,
Yeah.
and they're gonna lose money.
Yeah.
I bet you anything they're seeing that. I
Yeah.
bet you anything
Oh,
they're
yeah.
looking at that and
They're
like,
worried
you know
about
what?
it.
No one's gonna come see this.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one's gonna even watch it on TV if they're expecting just to get. They want to see a competition.
Yeah.
Like who's gonna get up to watch a game?
Yeah.
Because like they have to expect.
I won't. If it's on at a weird time and it's the third
Well, it's gonna
test
be on early in the morning or something like that for
British people.
British people.
Yeah.
Who's gonna wake up to watch those games?
Not a lot of them.
No.
No.
If they already know the results.
Yeah, I really like the Lions. I love watching it because it's like watching the Globetrotters, isn't it? And if we'd already beaten Australia comfortably in 2 tests, I wouldn't watch the third. I would be like, what's the point?
How embarrassing would that be, though,
Yeah.
for Australian rugby? If the Lions move the tour, like, holy
It wouldn't just be
fuck.
embarrassing. I think it would kind of be them done as a tier 1 nation.
It would
You
be
know.
that would be the nail in the coffin for me.
Yeah.
If they're like, we don't have confidence
Yeah.
to go to your country,
Yeah.
like you're just not competitive
Breaking
enough.
100 years of tradition because you
Oh
suck.
my god, that would be fucking
Yeah.
massive.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
That would be huge news. I would love to do a podcast after that news because that would
That's
be
some drama.
fucking crazy.
I would not be surprised. Genuinely.
I legit, I bet you anything. I'm fully in belief right now, full on QAnon conspiracy that there's
Can't
fucking
have 2 conspiracy in one session.
there's talks going on in the Lions. tour.
I would not be
I
surprised.
guarantee it. They're like
Yeah.
because you know what, money's involved, losing money,
Yeah.
lack of interest.
Yeah.
The Lions.
The
need,
Lions brand does kind of hang on by a thread, right?
Yes.
It's a 4-year cycle. If they're not making money once every 4 years,
Yeah.
they're not fucking going
they
again.
They need like because they might not even like Australians not even buy tickets because they
No.
know they're gonna get fucking hammered.
Yeah.
No one's gonna want to go see those games.
Yeah.
Like, it's just they need to go somewhere where like the hype is.
Here's
there.
my suggestion. You do a Lions mega tour. You do South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia. You play, or maybe you play even Argentina. That might be too much. But like you stop in each country.
Yeah, you could do that.
That would fuck the team up though.
Something.
Or you have your base in Australia
And they all come
New
and play.
Zealand come and play you, South Africa, because they would love that,
Yeah.
wouldn't they?
Yeah.
They would fucking love that. Everyone's getting a bit of the pie.
Yeah, and then all those teams can come and
Yep.
I think that would be
It'd be like the ultimate rugby festival.
They have to do something.
Yeah, that's like a mini World Cup, isn't it? Except France
Yeah.
aren't there. But anyway, yeah.
Another thing about this Argentina Wallabies game that kind of makes you sad is like I can't say that Argentina's looking up because they might play next week and just get fucking destroyed.
That's kind of what I'm
like,
saying.
what a fucking inconsistent team.
That's what I'm saying. It was kind of like, as much as Argentina looked really good, and they were, Australia just didn't bother tackling them. So it's hard to see who was actually playing well, right?
Yeah, it's just and I wish I could be like, Argentina is like getting
they're
so
back,
much
baby.
better.
No, who
But
knows?
they're
Who
so
fucking
inconsistent.
knows?
They play their hearts out one week
Yeah.
and then they get trashed the next week.
They do it in different halves.
Yeah,
They do it in different halves of
They're
rugby.
just-
They'll fucking
they're-
decide to play or not.
they wear so many masks.
That's what,
They're
honestly,
like
though,
the master of disguise.
that's
but
what Wales were like for the longest time. Like, we would like fucking we'd beat England somewhere and then we'd lose to fucking Georgia or something. And like, it was like, can we just fucking, everyone would be like, you'd write Wales off, we'd win a Six Nations. Everyone would be like, Wales are amazing. We'd lose a Six Nations by losing 5 out of 6 games. And then everyone would be like, Wales are shit. We'd win a 6. And everyone would be like, can you fucking be consistent for a week? Like, so I know the pain, but we go in cycles. Like, Argentina are just all over the fucking place.
I was looking in the history of Argentina rugby
Yeah.
and just like the history of the Pumas.
Yeah.
like where they're at, they're late to the game.
What do you mean?
Like they've been playing international rugby for a long time,
Right.
but being consistent in that and being like they only joined the rugby championship in 2012.
Yeah, it's not that long.
I thought it was earlier than that. I thought they joined like 99 or early 2000s.
No.
They've only been in there, and they didn't get their first win until 2014
in the rugby championship.
in the rugby championship.
Yeah, I knew that. It was a long time.
So like their step up into that, like playing like regularly against top competition, is only very recent.
That's true. But they had to have done something much more significant than other North American and South American countries to be invited to the rugby championship, right?
Oh, well, they were on the third. They became third. They came third in the 2007 World Cup or the 2011. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Before they were even in the rugby championship, they came third. In the World Cup, and then there was a long time, not even until the early 2000s, that the Pumas wouldn't pick anyone that wasn't playing in Argentina.
In Argentina?
Yeah.
Like playing for who? The local club?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. So they're getting trashed.
Wild.
And they had this rule, right?
Yeah.
And then, so all the best players automatically, there's no like professional rugby.
Yeah.
Like good paying rugby.
Yeah.
So these guys want to make a living. They all went to Europe.
That's insane to
and
me.
they cut them. They completely cut
They're
them off.
insisting you don't even have a day job. We want you to be making no money if you
and
play
they
for the
didn't start
Pumas.
creeping these guys in until the 2000s.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I was like, holy shit. So
I didn't know that, yeah.
like I think the progress, like, so since 2012, they've beaten the All Blacks, they've beaten the Springboks, they've beaten everyone.
Yeah.
They've beaten everyone in the world.
Yeah.
And so I guess you could say there is a look up. They are getting better. They're more competitive. I like watching them play because now when they come into play, you're not expecting them to lose.
No.
Right? They could beat anyone.
Yeah. They could.
They could beat anyone.
Yeah.
And
who knows? They could beat South Africa. Who fucking knows, right?
I was just going to say
Who fucking knows, right?
I was like, they might even beat. I wouldn't put it past them.
Because if you told me, if I didn't know what I know now, if you said Argentina are going to beat South Africa, I'd be like, based on what? What's your fucking evidence? Mm-hmm. If Argentina played South Africa the first game of the rugby championship, you said no, they win this game, I'd be like, there's no fucking way. Like, what's the evidence for that? Like,
it'll be like something really inconsistent too, though. They'll beat them in South Africa.
Yeah.
They'll just scrape by them, beat them in South Africa.
Yeah.
They'll fly to Argentina for the next game because they do the one home and away in this round.
Oh yeah.
They'll fly to Argentina and then they'll just get fucking spanked,
fucking destroyed.
Like a Springboks will just
100-0.
fucking destroy them at home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where the game that they should have won is in Argentina.
That would be very Argentina of them.
Yeah, it'll be very Argentina. of them.
Yeah.
I think they when I learned all that stuff about their history and where they're at and how far they've come, like they are on the up. They're trending up.
Yeah. And I think, we were talking about the USA and Japan and Canada and not fulfilling their potential. I think these things just take time. Like, the MLR has been going for 7 years. Maybe it takes 20 years. Maybe Japan take another 10 years before they're good again, right? So be it. These things do take a fucking long time, though. Because like you said, Argentina did not win a game in the rugby championship for a long fucking time. But now look at them.
Well, it only took 2 years. They were only there for 2 years.
2 years of... That's 12 games, though.
Right.
That's 12 games.
So it took them a while to get a game to win their first game.
Yeah.
But they didn't beat the All
games.
Blacks until
Very
2020?
Recently. Yeah, recently.
Yeah, 2020.
But that kind of proves my point, though, doesn't it? These things take time.
It took 10 years for them to finally beat the All Blacks.
Right. Yeah, these things take time. So with I think the US and the Japan will come good. It's going to be ups and downs, but generally, if you zoomed out of that graph, it's going up over a long time. Canada, I can't see it because
which makes clubs like, not clubs, makes nations like Italy look really poor. Because they're just been so shit for so consistently long.
Yeah.
Like they had a good Six Nations this year.
Yeah.
But was it this year?
But good by our very low expectations, right? Given the time and energy and money that people have given you, like, you should be somewhere else, shouldn't you? Like, and it's like, you see like a video of some kid and he's like at some karate tournament and he's supposed to chop through a block of wood and he can't do it, so they give him like some polystyrene and he still can't do it, and they put him on a stool to give him the right height and he still can't do it. It's like, come on. Like, this is fucking like, we're doing everything we can, like. Because
I would say like Argentina and Italy are very comparable in like they're kind of their situations, how they're kind of like brought in.
Argentina are worse. They're worse off. I mean,
yeah, okay, yeah, I would even agree with that. And then but they're brought into these competitions with these really high really competitive competitions.
Yeah.
Where they weren't expecting to like be good, but you're expecting some progression.
Yeah.
And Italy has been shit for so long. So inconsistent. And you could see Australia coming and like getting like imagine if Italy was going into Twickenham.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance they could win.
Yeah. No one would believe you.
No one would believe you.
No. Just because there's no evidence.
No.
There's none.
Right? Argentina can go to New Zealand now.
Yeah. And it could happen.
possibly win.
Yeah, it could happen. Yeah, you wouldn't put it past them. I'll tell you something else about... I don't like to get into the whole import players thing, but it is relevant with Argentina, right? When you compare Italy and Argentina, look at Italy, and they do have import players.
Yes.
Right? They've been given every opportunity to scout, find people like Lewis, the liner guy, he's like Australian or English or whatever, by birth, and he plays for Italy. Good for him. They've got a Kiwi guy.
They also have club teams that pay money.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
Right?
That's
Argentina
what brings
doesn't have a professional league.
No.
Well, they have
do that.
something, but
like
it's not...
I'm not shitting on that system because everyone does it and it's fine. I've got no issue with it. It's modern rugby. But my point is, Argentina have never done that. Not least because they're not able to do it. Guess where Sergio Parise was born?
In Argentina.
Fuck, he's from Argentina. Do you know what I mean? And he played for Italy his whole fucking career, and he was the best guy in that fucking team for about 10 years. Do you know what I mean? Like, they have been given every fucking opportunity, and they scrape by Wales. And everyone's like, get rid of Wales out of the Six Nations. Get fucking rid of them. It's like, have you seen Italy for 20 years? Like, fuck those
but
guys.
Wales
Like,
kind of sucked. But like...
We did suck, no doubt. We were shit. But do you know what I mean? Scotland and Italy have been shit for a lot longer. And everyone's like, it's fine. Leave them be. Don't be mean. I know, obviously, I've got an axe to grind about this. But like, the fact that it took them that long to beat us, and everyone's like, Italy are amazing now. Like, no, they're not. No, they're fucking not. They got some way to go.
Yeah, they do. And it does make them look bad on what Argentina's able to accomplish.
Yeah.
And their lack of what they have.
Yeah, because you made about Italy going to Twickenham, right? If you send Italy to play Ireland, France, even Scotland or England, maybe not
or even
Wales.
Even Wales. If they're going to Wales, I'm not expecting them to win.
Right, yeah, and even though they have, it's still like it doesn't prove anything, right? But like I would take Wales out of that because we're a bit ropey right now. But home or away, I'd bet on Ireland every time. And all those other teams I mentioned. Every time.
If I had to put money, any team playing Italy home or away, I'm putting money on
Italy.
Not Italy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Good on Argentina. Good on.
I think despite all
Argentina,
all that shitting on Italy, the point is, fair fucks to Argentina, right?
Well, let's go to the Springboks, New Zealand.
What do you think?
It was a game.
Wasn't as good as last week's for me.
It wasn't.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a good game. It was a good game.
This game was.
It was a good game.
This game was fucking fantastic.
It was tight. It was close.
It was almost like the same things happened in this game.
Yeah.
The same shit happened.
Well, I'll tell you what didn't happen. New Zealand scoring a try, which I don't know how long it's been since I've seen that happen. That was nuts. They didn't score a fucking try.
I think the last team to do that to them was...
Wasn't it England? No.
Was it England? No, it was... Oh, it might have been England. It was England or Ireland.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah. And we've been talking about how do you beat New Zealand and how everyone pulls their A game out for New Zealand. We're done with that. That day is done.
The Springboks are not even on their A game.
Because they're not.
Who's their offensive coach now? Tony Brown?
Yeah.
So they are still struggling. Like, they're still growing into this new... Because you can see they're attacking a lot different.
They are.
They're a lot wider.
Yeah, they are.
There's more... They're trying to be more creative.
They're trying to make Willie LaRue do things he's not used to.
It's going really against their style of play. And so they're not even at their full capacity yet.
Not even close.
Because you say if you want to beat the All Blacks, you have to be like on top. But the All Blacks are like almost the All Blacks' worst enemy.
Yeah. Right now they are.
Yeah. They just kind of just completely crumble.
We are in... Historians will look back at this time in rugby. They will in 100 years and go, that was the day... or the 2-week period where people's attitudes about New Zealand changed. And I've seen a lot of people talking about how telling New Zealand to calm down, telling New Zealand fans to calm down, right? Like, you played the best team in the world, you took them close twice, why are you so angry? New Zealand are angry because they're not used to this.
And
New Zealand don't lose 2 games back-to-back.
This
they
is
don't
a game
do
I
it.
thought that New Zealand should have won.
I predicted they would.
Springboks did a lot for the All Blacks to win because they were fucking sloppy.
Yeah.
Like, if you even look at the penalty count, it's like 14-15.
Yeah, they were both.
Right?
Both teams were sloppy.
It's like they were competing to have who can have oh man, like the box could not hold on to the ball.
No.
They would get a couple phases in, and then that ball would come spewing out.
Yeah.
Like they were just getting destroyed at the breakdown.
Yeah.
They just could not keep the ball.
Yeah.
There was just so many handling areas.
But in that,
so
all that thing you said, it felt like forced errors, but it felt like New Zealand were desperate as well, right? They were desperate. I've never seen a New Zealand team who don't look confident, even when they're losing, even when they're coming off a loss. They always just like, no, we can do this. This was a desperate New Zealand team.
They were desperate. I don't know what they were trying to do on attack. It was kind of weird.
It was weird.
It looks like they don't really have an attack. They just kind of like just try to create shit.
Yeah.
And the defense is like, the box defense is one thing that's like, it's just so good.
Yeah.
It's so solid, and they just couldn't break it. They just couldn't figure out a way to like to get past them.
No, they couldn't think of a creative solution, could they? And I think
they had a lot of opportunities because like the box kept coughing the ball up, creating these broken plays too, which New Zealand really thrives on.
Yeah, it does.
And they just couldn't
do.
create anything.
I thought they got a bit weird with their crossfield kicks as well. It's like, not only is this really predictable, it's actually easy to intercept now. That's how often you do this. You know, like New Zealand have become predictable in their unpredictability. They used to do these crazy across the field plays from a loose turnover or something, but now it's like they run out of ideas and they'll try a crossfield kick, and it's like, we know what you're going to do. You know?
Yeah, and I think at a point we made last week too, like you're looking at the Springboks team and all the players are doing everything.
Yeah.
And that's not the case in New Zealand.
No.
Especially their wingers.
Yeah.
Like look at Cheslin Kobe.
Yeah. Yeah, you could put him in any position basically, and he would do well.
He did a fucking line out.
Yeah, he did.
He threw a fucking line out.
Yeah, and it was a nice one.
They got everyone's doing everything. Like man, the first person to hit. There was one kickoff. The first person to tackle. I think it was who's Scotty Barrett?
Scott Barrett.
Yeah, Scotty Barrett.
Yeah.
He catches the ball. First person to hit him, Cheslin Kobe.
Yeah.
Right away. Boom. Right into him.
And it wasn't like a little back hitting a forward, was it?
No.
It was like a big hit.
Yeah. In there. Like they're all like the players are just involved all over the place. And I feel like New Zealand is like being too conservative with their positions.
They definitely are. Yeah. They you know, like we said last week, the winger stays on the wing because we'll get the ball to you because every single one of us is creative. And it's like, but no, actually that's kind of turned on its head now because every guy in South Africa wants the ball. They want to do something with the ball. They want to come at you and hit you, right?
I think they made a mistake with having Will Jordan fullback.
Yeah, I like him, but like we've talked about, his weakness is that he doesn't look for work.
No.
Right? He just waits for the ball to get to him, and he's fast. And when
there was a big difference between him and Willie LaRue.
Yeah.
Willie LaRue is like, involved in fucking everything.
He was, but sometimes, you know that where he tries to intercept the ball and he gets a yellow card. I thought, you're trying a bit too hard now, right?
Yeah.
You're trying a bit too hard now, mate. Like,
you can always count on him to do something like that.
Yeah.
But there's a big difference in the workload.
It's weird because, South Africa has been a passionate team, but New Zealand are that team. Like, you put on that black jersey, like, fucking hell, that's like wearing your country's flag, isn't it? Like, you know, like, well, it is, obviously, but there's something about it, isn't there? Like the pride that Kiwis have in being an All Black was like superlative.
They're trying to put the blame on everyone too. Like the Kiwi fans are putting the blame everywhere.
And that's what I'm saying.
Damien McKenzie is like,
he wasn't my favorite either. Like he's not the answer at 10, you know?
My buddy from New Zealand said he's got like Damien McKenzie's good when All Blacks are on the front foot.
Yeah.
But when they're on the back foot, he's not the guy you want.
He's not even a guy you want in structured play. Like, he's just a guy, you give him the ball and some space and he'll perform magic, you know? But he's not a guy who should be ordering the guys around, bringing structure to a game. I would want him always at fullback, coming to look for work when there's a bit of space. Because he's reliable and good, but he's just not a general, you know?
They also decided to, like, which I was surprised by the All Blacks, they went for a lot of points with the kicks, and then he missed a few.
Yeah.
And I can see why they don't go for kicks all the time because they
don't have good kickers.
They don't have good kickers.
Yeah, you reap what you sow, you know?
They're missing someone that can slot the ball. They're missing Dan Carter a lot. They miss a Dan Carter.
They're missing Richie Mo'unga.
Richie
he was
Mo'unga
a good kicker.
He was good, but he wasn't great.
He was better statistically than McKenzie.
Oh, I bet.
You know? And like the scoreline, 18-12, 2 kicks, you know? It's not a bad scoreline.
I think he missed like 3.
Right? Yeah, and
So
you know, you don't want to
points.
blame it on miss kicks because obviously everything else matters equally.
Yeah.
But that would have made a difference. You know, would have won him the game arguably.
Also, I think I think Andre Pollard has got some competition.
Sasha Feinberg and Zulu, I've been practicing, he will be, when historians look back on this time in rugby history,
I like to say, we got to keep using it.
then they'll talk about Antoine Dupont and Sasha Feinberg and Zulu as the two greatest. That's like the Messi and Ronaldo storyline coming.
He's turning it. Yeah, it's turning into that. I could see.
Yeah.
He's. Oh man,
I fucking love this.
When
guy.
he came, he didn't start the game.
Yeah.
Andre Pollard started the game.
Yeah.
And when Sasha came on,
yeah,
he lit it up.
He did.
He sped it up too.
He's scary. Eh? When he gets the ball and runs towards the line, he reminds me of Marcus Smith when he runs at the line because he can break that line.
He's a smooth operator, and I was watching some highlight videos of him. He's done some crazy shit on the field.
He has. Yeah.
He's talent. Like, man, what a blessing.
He's got the brain of Johnny Sexton and the hips of Quade Cooper, and it's beautiful. I want him on my fucking team.
Yeah. Man, what a find. But it's like I would be a little scared if I was Andre. Andre Pollard can control a game.
Yeah.
I think but he is not a maverick.
No.
He does not have that maverick.
No, he's the Dan Biggar mold, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's part of that old stock of 10s.
Shouting general kicking 10s.
So he's got he's 28, 29.
Andre Pollard.
Yeah, he's
I
young.
thought he was older than that.
No, he's still in his 20s.
Okay.
And so he's easily going to the next World Cup.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have an injury and he keeps up his form, he's going to the World Cup for sure.
He's a handy guy to come on and close out a game, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because Wales used to do that. We'd have Gareth Anscombe start, do all his creative shit, and Dan Biggar come on for 20 minutes and make sure we didn't lose.
I think Razzie had a good thing where he started Andre Pollard to have that control of the game.
Yeah.
He has confidence in him. I have confidence in Andre Pollard.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
And then to bring on Sasha.
That's a flex, isn't it?
To flex. Yeah, that is a flex. To speed up the game. Just another pace just comes at you. Bam. We need some creativity. We need some.
And we've got the guy now.
Some fucking hot shots
Yeah.
part deux in there. And we need something crazy to go in there and bring him in. And then as Andre Pollard, it will phase out.
Yeah.
Sasha could take that realm.
Yeah.
I like the whole Andre Pollard starting and Sasha coming on.
Yeah.
Even you could do it because I don't think bringing Andre Pollard on is going to push the game. Sasha has the energy and the creativity to push the game to a different direction.
It depends what's happening
when you need it. When you need it,
and
too.
Depends who you're playing, right? If you've got a 10-point lead against Ireland, and you want to slow things down and just turn it into a grind fest, that's when you bring Pollard on, right? Mm-hmm. But if you were maybe 5 points down against France, you want we need some creativity. You bring on Sasha Feinberg and Zulu.
Yeah, we gotta put some ants in our pants.
That's right. Yeah, throw some ants in those French pants.
Yeah,
that's what we want.
Anyway,
there's a lot of things I want. There's not too much more I want to say. Actually, no, I could say fucking loads of shit about this game. To be honest, this is a bit of a cliche. I've heard other people say this, but it's worth saying. South Africa's bench, holy fuck, versus New Zealand's bench. It's
it's night and day.
What have you got? What have you got?
It's night and day.
And you look at the guys New Zealand have got. I remember when they had big, hard, scary bastards.
New Zealand didn't even empty their bench.
Carved up from rock. You had fucking Sam Whitelock and Brodie Retallick, and they've got the Barrett boys who look like the old. I know I'm not going to body shame anyone, but I don't know. That's just not the same, is it? The quality is not there.
Yeah, I think the bench was the biggest difference. It was the difference in both these games.
Yeah.
The quality that the box, which is crazy to say about New Zealand.
It is, isn't it? It is crazy. That's what I'm talking about.
They don't have the depth to beat the
times
Springboks.
No, that's crazy. New Zealand don't have depth generally as a mental statement, right? They've never not had insane depth. They've never not had the three best guys in that position, right? Now they don't even have the first best guy in that position.
They don't even have. Yeah, they're missing.
Genuine question now. Name a position where New Zealand have the best player in the world. It might be Ardie Surveyor only for me right now. And that is an incredible thing to say.
Yeah, that is.
And that almost feels like it's changed overnight because, even last year it was a lot of guys. I just said Aaron Smith.
Or here's an even bigger thing too.
Yeah.
These players, right? A lot of these players, you're putting not one, but a handful of guys ahead of a lot of them.
Yes, you are.
Right?
Yes, you are.
So you're not even you're not saying, oh, Damian McKenzie, let's put him as an example, right?
Yeah.
It's okay, yeah, you would put, but this guy's better.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
Maybe this guy or this guy. But
Yep.
you could put like 5
Other 10s.
fly halves
Yeah.
ahead of him.
Yeah.
It'd be like, I'd rather have these 5.
And I'd rather have 2 from South Africa. I'd rather have Pollard or
yeah.
Sasha Feinberg.
Like you'd put 5 guys ahead. Like you're
Yep.
like that's concerning.
It is concerning. Yeah.
Right?
It is
So
concerning.
you're putting like all these guys ahead.
Yeah. And even Surveyor, as good as he is, Keelan Doris is pretty fucking good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's a pretty fucking good number 8. Like, so I don't know. Like, New Zealand, you don't want to like absolutely panic because, like, you know, people saying calm down, etc., etc. And it's true. They've still got a very good rugby team, and they're still the favourites to win the next World Cup. Because that's what the bookies think. But what I'm saying, the significant thing is, something has changed. Something has happened which maybe has never ever happened before, and that is New Zealand are not comfortably the best team in the world on any given day.
And and even like with the Springboks kind of experimenting with their lineup in this game.
That's what
with
I'm saying.
both games, they were mixing stuff up.
Yeah.
Like they start that 9, they had Grant Williams for Springboks.
Yeah.
He was good, but he looked a little out of his element.
Yeah.
A little you could see
A little
lack
bit
of
nervous,
experience.
actually.
Yeah, a little nervous.
Yeah.
Lack of experience.
Yeah.
Right? That like the All Blacks should have eaten that alive.
Right. Who in the fucking history of rugby experiments against the All Blacks? Nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody. And now you've got Argentina rocking up on like a slow Tuesday and beating them. And South Africa, like, we might try this bloke, he's decent. It's like, you're playing fucking New Zealand. You don't experiment. You don't just fucking give it a go. But now you do. Like, this is a historical shift in the rugby fucking world structure. And what's scary is, I don't think New Zealand will ever be a bad team. They're going to be second, third best in the world for a little bit now. Whatever. They'll come back. But the scary thing is, South Africa will be the best team in the world for the next 2 millennia. And that's scary.
It was like I said, like maybe last year.
Yeah.
When Scott Robertson was first announced the coach.
Yeah.
And I said, I believe he's going to have some growing pains.
Yeah.
When he gets into Test rugby.
Yeah.
Because it's the game's different. He's been coaching Super Rugby for too long.
Yeah.
Like getting into Test rugby.
Yeah.
Without any experience was going to be a bit of a culture shock, and I think he's getting that. He's getting that culture shock.
Yeah.
This is Test rugby.
Yeah.
And I think he's getting frustrated. Maybe the frustration like that, like how he had the divorce with his fucking his offensive
Leon
coach.
McDonald. Yeah.
And stuff. Jesus, I can't speak.
You're doing good.
So like that, him having those growing pains now, like the culture shock of getting into Test rugby.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a forever thing.
No.
But it would have been nice for the All Blacks to for him to have some test experience.
Yeah, because All Blacks
getting into a system, he should have went into a system.
It's a bit arrogant, actually, wasn't it? Because almost every other team, and even New Zealand, will have someone. They'll be your forwards coach for a bit before they actually take over the head coach role, right? Mm-hmm. It's not often you have someone jump straight from, admittedly, a very impressive record with the Crusaders, but they don't often jump from club level to international level.
Yeah, I think they didn't the reason why I feel like he didn't get it didn't go like that, like how he didn't go into the system and then transition in.
Yeah,
was I think because he was the obvious takeover. He was going to obviously
they were grooming
take over
him, weren't they? Yeah,
and they were grooming him, and everyone was talking about. I don't think a head coach would want this guy in his setup that's gunning for his job,
because he'd be too much. Not even because he's got a big ego, because it's like everyone knows that's the next guy.
It's a distraction.
It's a distraction, right?
So
he's
I don't
too
think
big
Ian
to
Foster
be in that
would
room.
want. If circumstances were different, I guarantee Ian Foster would probably want him in the coaching setup.
Yeah.
But since the whole narrative and all the talk behind him, he doesn't want that distraction.
No.
He doesn't want this guy in his team that wants his job, trying to take his job. Like, he knows the other guys want his job.
Oh yeah.
But they know they're in the system to earn it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, to prove themselves. Whereas as far as the New Zealand public were concerned, a few months ago, there was no one better suited to this role.
I'm not going to say that Scott Robertson wouldn't have that mindset. He might.
No.
But it's just
it's not his ego, is it?
Yeah.
It's what people are projecting onto him, right?
Yeah.
He could have fucking booted a kitten off a bridge in Wellington and everyone be like, he's still the man. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Get him in, you know? So, but I mean, I don't think he's a bad coach either. I just think the expectation that New Zealand have had, and a deservedly high expectation, is finally plummeting to maybe just being a very, very good rugby team instead of a superlative one.
Squidge Rugby said something in one of his videos.
Oh, has he been gaslighting us again?
No, but he said something along those lines that it wasn't when you're watching it, it didn't feel like an All Black team. It just felt like you were watching a
regular,
really good,
yes, that's a good point.
Really
That's a good way
rugby
of putting
team.
it. Yeah, it's just.
And I thought that was pretty profound. I was like, that
Yeah.
is like dead on.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what you're seeing.
Because that's the thing. Like, you can panic all you want, but they're still a fantastic rugby team, right? They're just not the best fucking ever. All of a sudden, right?
And how is that going to affect? Because like all these All Blacks, like all the previous All Blacks coming into the system, all
Yeah.
the players, they came into a winning culture. They came into
Yeah.
a culture where they beat everyone.
That's what I said
and
last
they were
week, innit?
expecting to beat everyone.
Yeah.
And now they're coming into a team that
Yeah.
loses occasionally,
Yeah.
and they don't know
Yeah.
if they're going to win
Yeah.
this game.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. It hasn't happened.
That's gonna
ever.
like that's creating, because every generation of All Blacks before this one,
Yeah.
like all the new ones, they came in, to a champion team.
Yeah.
To a team expected to
And
win
pulling
everything.
on that jersey is like, if you're not fucking incredible, you're never wearing it again, right? That's gone now. It's like, yeah, we lose every now and again. So you're coming to a team who are not mediocre, very good, but pulling on that jersey doesn't mean quite the same thing. And we know in international rugby that the mindset and the emotion and the motivation adds enough of percentage difference to win games.
I wonder how many All Blacks in this squad that came in the last couple of years
Yeah.
have a losing record.
That's and I said that
I
last
wonder
week,
how
right?
many of them there is. There's got to be like a couple
There's
or a few.
debutantes who've played 2 or 3 games now who have probably the worst record of any New Zealand debutant,
Yeah.
right? Because they don't lose 2 games back to back. It doesn't fucking happen, right? And now
Yeah.
they have, you know?
Yeah, it's like a crazy, and there's a handful of things going wrong there too.
Yeah, it's not one thing, is it?
No,
And it's not
a
easily
hand-
fixable.
It's a handful. Their lack of competition. They're isolating themselves.
Yeah.
Super Rugby again.
Yeah.
Like there's just a lot of things working. It's almost a lot of things working against them.
Yeah, and New Zealand were always the innovators as well, right? They were hard to beat, not just because they were really good, but because they were always 10 years ahead of everyone else. They were innovating pod structure. They were innovating attacking shapes. They were doing it, and they were so far ahead of everyone else. By the time everyone else did it and it became the normal rugby thing to do, New Zealand were already inventing the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now they look lost, right? Their attack just looks clueless. Not clueless, but, lacking effectiveness, right? And their defense is still good. Their set piece is still really good, but they're just not doing anything different, right? And against a level of defense the Springboks have, which is fucking amazing. It's like, if you can't find a creative way to break them down, you're not that innovative team that we knew that you used to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because Scott Robertson is exactly the kind of person who I thought was going to bring another level to New Zealand rugby. He was going to be the guy, not just to make them good, but to make them untouchable again, right? And the opposite has happened, right? They look very touchable.
Because I still think, like Springboks are the number 1 team in the world right now, but they're not an unbeatable team.
No.
They're not.
Well, no, Ireland proved that.
Argentina might. I wouldn't be surprised to do it.
Yeah.
I'm expecting them when they go up north into the November Test series that they're going to lose a game or two.
Springboks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could do.
I won't be surprised
Yeah, could do.
too. So you're just expecting the All Blacks to, I don't know, this. Yeah, you're right. The expectations.
Isn't it nice though? I feel bad for New Zealand. Obviously, you want your team to win, but it's nice for the rest of us to be able to go, thank fuck we're in a genuinely even playing field now. Except Springboks, who are going to be the fucking New Zealand, who are going to be hard to fucking beat forever.
Yeah, they're when you look
at mate, when you bring Quagga Smith off the bench and he's not I know I go on about him a lot. I go on about him because he's like Justin Tipuric, right? No one talks about him a lot. But if he's playing, your team's winning, right? And he is that guy. You bring him off the bench, he'll come on, immediately win a turnover, and just he didn't need to change the game. But when he came on, I was like, fuck me, this guy's good, And he's not even on he's not even starting. You know what I mean? They bring guys on who are incredible players. Meanwhile, New Zealand don't even use their bench. It's like, fuck, this is going badly. They're scared to use their backups. So
the Springboks were so good at. They had a rough start to this game. They had a rough start. This was a rough start to a game for them.
Yeah.
A lot of players trying to figure out where they're supposed to be. Who's that? Moody? What's his name again? Is it
Carl Moody?
Is that his name?
That's a
Can Mooney?
Who are you talking about? New Zealand
The
player?
winger. No, Springboks winger. Can Moody.
Right.
They started him as a wing.
Oh yeah.
He looked kind of out of place for a bit.
Yeah.
And then he got in, and then he was kind of getting into it. He got taken off, but he had a rough start in that game.
Yeah, he did.
So there was a lot of shakiness like the All Blacks had a lot of opportunity to take this game.
And that's what's crazy, right? If you say to me, "Oh, we had a bad start against the All Blacks," my imagination goes to 20-0 and they've scored 3 tries, right?
Mm-hmm.
This bad start was a couple penalties, right? Like that's not a bad like New Zealand. If you say to me you're having a bad start against them, it means they've run in 3 or 4 tries.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't score a fucking try in that game.
No.
So the Springboks not only didn't panic, even when some of their guys looked a bit nervous and ropey, their defense was still fucking rock solid. You know, so like even on a bad day, they're still playing at a really high standard. The future is really bright for me.
Also, you have to, what we have to say too is the All Blacks defense is still.
It's still really
top notch.
Yeah, it's still, and that's the thing. Their set piece and their scrum is still really good.
Their breakdown, they are ferocious. They look, They look better at the breakdown than they've ever looked.
They do.
That's one thing we should talk about. That their breakdown defense.
Yeah,
I mean not defense. When you're on the defense,
when
you're running the breakdown. You're like, oh, you're on the offense of the breakdown. I don't know, but anyways, when it comes to the breakdown, they are the kings.
Yeah, they are.
They are incredible. That's one thing I think right now New Zealand is the best in the world at.
Yeah, I agree.
They are like when they're trying to get that ball, they're all over. They're just so quick at that breakdown. They're so technically good. Yeah, they do a lot of cheating, but all the fucking teams, the teams are.
And the ref was pipping his whistle every 2 minutes.
Yeah,
you know what I was saying last week about the ref just needs to whistle more. Well, he did this week, and it made it a shit game. So, right, it did though, didn't it? It was just like fucking hell, stop blowing your whistle, let them cheat a bit. But you know, like I'm not always Sam Cane's biggest fan, but he's fucking insane at the breakdown, isn't he? Like he just gets there with such energy and power, and Savea just like he'll just move 4 guys off the ball so someone else can pilfer it for your team, right? Like, yeah, they are. And it's not just the power, is it? It's the speed they get there at, right? And it's how they pick their moments. And historically, New Zealand didn't actually commit a lot of guys to the breakdown, right? They'd commit 1 guy. And they were still effective at it. So now they're committing maybe 2 guys. And it's like...
they are disruptive. Like, that was really a pain in the ass for the Springboks. And that was making...
That's what I'm saying.
That was keeping... That was fucking...
That's why they knocked it on.
Fucking up all the time. And it was coming
out
of...
forced pressure, right?
The majority of the time, it was coming out of the breakdown.
Yeah.
Because New Zealand was just all over. I've never seen... Like, they're incredible to watch when it comes to the breakdown.
Yeah.
And I think they're the best in the world at it right now.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I don't want
They could give a lot of other teams, like a lot of... like
They will. They'd beat most other teams, right? That's why I don't want to get really down on them because, like... This isn't about New Zealand being bad. It's just about losing their aura of being superlative. That's all it is about, right?
It feels different this year.
That's what I'm saying.
It feels different.
It does feel different. Like they've gone from being the best fucking team in the world to being maybe the second. That's not a big deal, but for them it is. And I understand, right? Because when Ireland beat South Africa and there was this whole like, who's the best team in the world? You could kind of tell South Africa, as much as they were pissed off about it, they still had that chip on their shoulder, right? They were like, we're not the best, though. We're not the best. And it was like, now they've beaten New Zealand back-to-back. I think they've taken that chip off their shoulder. They needed to beat New Zealand back-to-back for the first time since the 40s.
Man, the comments online, I think this settles that we are the best.
Exactly. And I was like, oh, shut the fuck up.
Guys, you guys, no one's arguing with you.
You guys are so insecure. Yeah. South Africans.
You're the world champions. There's like a title to it.
But I was watching Egg Chasers on YouTube, and he's interviewing South African fans, and they looked happy finally, right? It looked like they got the monkey off their back. I think the monkey was in New Zealand. And yeah, I think Ireland will probably beat them 3 or 4 more times.
I think Ireland will beat them in November.
Me too, but I don't think, until Ireland can win a World Cup, I don't think there's something about deep in the South African brain, there's something they're not threatened by. Though they could lose to them 1,000,000 times, but unless they lose to them in a World Cup, they're like, yeah, we don't take you that seriously, though.
Ireland is not good at World Cups. They're good at beating the Springboks, but they're not good at World Cups.
Yeah, they're like the rock, paper, scissors in that equation, right?
Yeah.
And that's good for them, but I think Springboks beating New Zealand meant more to them. For me, that's the energy I felt, because now they look genuinely happy. They felt genuinely confident. They beat Ireland and they're still a bit like, see guys, see, we're the best in the world. It's like, yeah, we know you are. Yeah, you won the fucking World Cup. We know you are. Like, relax. But they couldn't, you know? But now they seem happy. They're like, we proved it.
100%.
Finally, we have proved it to you all.
All right, let's move on from this game, because we could talk about it. We should just have done a pod on this one.
Yeah.
Because we went on a long time about this game.
Going on some time here.
Do you want to mention some stuff about Wales?
No, we can finish there. Fuck them. Yeah, maybe.
I'll give you a couple minutes.
Took all the energy out of my sails, and I know we're kind of probably wittering a bit. Yeah, Toby Booth leaving the Ospreys is just like, yeah, the Wallabies are in a bad state, and they're in a bit of a worse state overall, but it's just like, anytime we have something nice Toby Booth for me was the best coach in the URC this season because what he did with the resources he had, and he's such a good guy, and he put faith in the youngsters, and it paid off, right? For the Ospreys to get into the Champions Cup, they had no right being there, right? They had no fucking right being there with the resources, paying their players 20p a game. Like, it doesn't fucking happen. So to lose him is just like, can we just fucking have one nice thing? Apparently not. Can't remember what I was going to say.
But you got Tipperick.
Justin Tipperick is the new defense coach. And that, like, as much as I love Tipperick,
You guys can have nice things.
but Justin Tipperick doesn't feel like a defense coach.
Well, you don't know yet.
Have you seen him in an interview?
Remember,
Excellent
he's
rugby
been coached
player.
by some of the best defense coaches in the
Yeah,
world.
but it's like you can just tell some guys aren't going to be good coaches.
I don't know.
He doesn't seem like he leads. It seems like he goes out and plays rugby. So
He might be really intelligent. He might be the best defense coach ever.
I hope so because we fucking
Because who was the one?
Does have a
who was
feeling-
who's the defense coach in World Rugby? What's his name?
Sean Edwards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was coached by him for a long time.
he was.
He was coached by some very smart people.
Yeah, he's been under some of the best coaches in the world. I mean,
Yeah.
because Warren Gatlin, whatever you think about him, he's undoubtedly one of the best coaches in the world, right?
Yeah,
Or
totally
he used to be. You know what I mean? So we'll fucking see. And then there was that thing about on Rugby Pass about 85 or 84 overseas Welsh players.
Mhm.
And I was on Rugby Tinder the other day, which if you haven't seen it, not you, but anyone who might be listening, there's a website where you can like recruit rugby players. And it's like guys, and they've got a little highlights reel, and it tells you where they're from and who they played for and all this. And it's like, if you click on the UK bit, it's like most of these guys are from Wales. Like, we still produce an insane number of rugby players. And we've got some kind of like USA or Japan thing going on where it's like they just don't make it to the fucking national team because England will buy them, or they play the NFL, or they decide they're going to be fucking professional tiddlywinks players because they can't be fucked being paid £10 a week for the regions, I don't have a lot to say about it. I blew my load all over the rugby championship a bit. So.
I know. I still have more to say about it too.
Yeah, me too. I'd rather go back and talk about that, but I know we're running out of time. So what I will say is I'm excited for the URC to start because I think as much as I'm being a bit negative about Wales, there's a lot of good signings. I'm excited for Cardiff. Callum Sheedy playing 10 for Cardiff was a beautiful thing to see. Like I'm excited for Cardiff. But
I haven't seen him play. He did a good job.
We beat Bath in a pre-season friendly, and the Ospreys beat Exeter. So who knows? Things could be happening. But these pre-season friendlies, like
They're
be like
playing all their academy. They're
everyone's playing random people, and everyone's
Yeah.
got like beer guts and hangovers from the summer, and then
you can't really.
it doesn't mean a lot because
Yeah.
Leinster took a beating off Bordeaux the other day, and I was thinking that probably doesn't mean a lot in the grand scheme of things, but we'll fucking see.
All right, let's go buy some tickets to the Champions Cup final.
We're going to Cardiff, boy.
Going to Cardiff.
Fuck yeah.
All right, friends, you can email us at the Friends of Rugby Pod at gmail.com. Please like and share the podcast. Like, for real, guys. Like,
Please.
fucking like and share it. And you can find us on X, Twitter.
Are we on Threads? Can we be on Threads? I got
No,
Threads.
we're not on
dude.
Threads.
Why not?
Because I just don't have... We're not on these things.
All right, fine.
All right.
This was a genuine one, not me just taking the piss.
Okay.
All right.
Have a good one, folks.
Bye-bye.